What's going on, guys? It's History on USA here today, and I am wearing white gloves, and that is because we're going to be going through 6 different uniforms, all dress uniforms from the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, a lot of cool stuff. We're going to start from World War I all the way to Vietnam. We're just going to go over different dress uniforms, what the branches wore, that kind of thing. Obviously, I don't have all the dress uniforms that existed, but this will just be a brief summary for, people beginning dressing uniforms. I've got some examples here that I'm going to show people wearing these uniforms and stuff like that. So let's hop right into it. First, we've technically got U.S. Army dress uniform from World War I. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what the heck? This is a combat uniform, you idiot. Well, believe it or not, combat uniforms were basically the same as dress uniforms. And I should probably start this first. Dress uniform is different than a combat uniform because if you go to like a military ball or a dance, I did the same thing, but you just go to a formal occasion, you're gonna wear your dress uniform, which would be any of these. However, there was only 2 instances after the 19th century, so in the 20th century, that the combat uniform was kind of the same as the dress uniform. And that would be beginning with World War I. So we just have a corporal. Oh, funny thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 uniforms. 5 of them are all second. So like corporal, airman second class, seaman second class, corporal. So I kind of find that funny. Anyways, World War I uniform. I've got some examples here, and our example for the World War I uniform is right here. We can see, I'm just messing with you. This is our example. 1917 photo, veteran right here, Charles E. Martin. As we can see, he's wearing that uniform. And normally when you take photos too, when you're stateside, you're gonna wear your dress uniform. Well, you can see he's wearing basically the same exact uniform. That's because they didn't really have a dress uniform. It was after World War I. They were like, hey, let's get a dress uniform going on. So we've got headquarters, or artillery headquarters, U.S. rank here, and under here somewhere, if I can find it real quick. Oh yeah, right here. This uniform is dated 1918. So yeah, pretty cool uniform. That's our World War I. So that's basically World War I dress uniform that American soldiers in the Army and the Marine Corps uniform was very similar, just different greens, would wear. Coming up to World War II, we've got the Navy. You'll probably notice that this is a Navy jumper, and that's because the Navy, quite literally, wore Navy jumpers as their dress uniform. And this was also something that they would wear in combat, depending on what you did, if you were utility, submarine, or whatever you would do, depending on what you would wear. So obviously there's different uniforms the Navy has. But yeah, so this is probably the only other exception that I can think of to where a combat uniform could also work as a dress uniform. Because, you see the photos of the guys coming home, the sailors especially, they're all wearing that. And here we go with photos again. We see all these photos. The majority of them are people in their dress wear. Dress wear. These photos were taken in combat, or not in combat, but But all these formal photos, you've got your dress uniform. We have the one Navy photo, and he's in his Navy blues. Should probably clarify, all of these are... Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? All these are what? Oh, enlisted men, sorry. This is the only example. This was a chaplain's uniform. But basically in Vietnam, they were quite basically the same. But if you were a Navy officer, you'd be wearing the uniform more looking like one of these. You would not be wearing the jumper. But this is for enlisted, which is more common, so I thought I'd just go with that. We got a ruptured duck here. Amphibious assault. Shoot, I forgot what that was. Oh well, I'll look it up one day. So yeah, I printed up some really bad photos, but we're just gonna have to kind of roll with it. Coming up, we have our Marine Corps dress greens. Obviously not dress blues, dress greens. I say this because dress blues are very common. Not very common, but they're very iconic. You're not really, when you're gonna see, because when I first saw this uniform, when I first started collecting, I did not expect green, I was kind of confused. Basically, this uniform is not dated, but it's got a lot of papers with it to back up the story, but it's a late war uniform, 2nd Marine Division Corporal, ruptured duck. It's got a French Croix de Guerre, and that's because of the battalion this guy, or maybe battalion company, whatever he was in World War I, and that's where they got that reward, yeah. We have 2 examples here, one's really bad. You can kind of see in this photo, Marine Corps dress greens, and then up here in this photo, to a guy named John Gray, he's got those Marine Corps dress greens again. So yeah, very similar uniform. Now finally, the Army. We have a very, very common, or not very common, but iconic uniform, the Ike jacket. This is the same thing for the Army Air Corps, basically. The Army Air Corps would wear a very similar uniform, almost identical. If you remove this patch, you could basically call that an Army Air Corps uniform. Notice the pins are gone, sadly, but this was 80th Infantry Division, so it's Army. And this uniform is dated in the pocket here, if I can open it up. Right there, I believe 1941 or 45. I'm gonna go with 41. Yeah, very cool uniform. It's named right there, but I can't find anything on that guy. So that's what the Army uniforms were. I have an example right here of my great-grandfather, and I kind of wanted to point this out because during the Korean War, the Army decided to do this kind of thing. It's a yellow and blue rank chevron. That would only took place interwar, Korea, and then after they were like, oh, let's just ditch that. I'm not sure why. As you can see, it's a very similar uniform. And we've also got examples here. That guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that girl, I don't even know. You know, just Ike jacket. Technical corporal. And then we've got a really confusing uniform, at least in my opinion. We have the Korean War Air Force. So now it's the Air Force after 47. Not the Army Air Corps, because they would wear the same. They got this blue kind of thing. Got Airman Second Class. Got a patch I do not recognize at all. And it's dated. Oh shoot, I completely forgot where the date is located in this jacket. Oh, it's in the pocket thing here. Yeah, so thing is, sometimes dates are in different places. Just make sure you check everywhere, especially under the lining. And then here we've got 1949. So yeah, an extra small, like that is, it doesn't get smaller than that. Like that's just crazy. So yeah, we have our World War I, World War II Navy, World War II Marine Corps, World War II Army, Korean War Air Corps. Now we got on to the final part, Army, Vietnam era. I printed examples and I'm not sure where I put them. Oh yeah, so here we go. This was a very hard photo to find. I should have been showing photos, I apologize. We got a Navy guy at a ball. As you can see, the majority of these guys are in white uniforms. It's an early war kind of dress in a sense. I mean, obviously they still used it later on in the war, but early war, 1940, 1941, you see a lot of guys in the whites. And you got one guy in the blue in the dance. So that's the Air Corps one. Oh yeah, right here. We have the Air Corps guys, Korean War. You can see it's kind of that bluish style. Then right here we got a Vietnam War soldier. And that's the one we're looking at right now. Not the same one, this one's 1st Cav, JFK Airborne Training School. This is a very different uniform. Just because like you can just, I guess I'm just showing you, but you can see the green, blue, kind of brown, green, black. Just so you guys can get an idea. Let's see, we got a garment thing right there. Then we got a name and maker right there. This uniform, I'm pretty sure, was made sometime in the, I'm gonna say late 60s, early 70s. This was worn by a Vietnam veteran, obviously, but you know, it's got his name and a lot of stuff on him, so that's really cool. So yeah, this has been the dress uniforms of a bunch of different branches, all the way up from World War I to Vietnam. And yep, I do not have a lot of material, but I just thought I'd show you. I'm going through them all because I have so many dress uniforms and I thought, what am I gonna do with these? This one, and World War I. And I gotta bring these all upstairs now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry this video was kind of boring and long, and I hope to see you guys again.